Hi, today I'll be discussing about how we can leverage the asset of English learners through culturally responsive teaching and strong homeschool partnerships. So, on culturally responsive teaching, cultural influences shape how students communicate, how they problem solve, and they participate in class alongside with their viewership and perspective on authority, collaboration, and even learning. Cultural interests, culture influences everything from eye contact to storytelling, and it aids the ability to understand how knowledge can be constructed and shared with their family and culture. Cultural competence refers to an educator's ability to understand and respect these differences of the cultural backgrounds. For English learners, cultural competence is essential because of the language development. It does not happen within a secluded or isolated um, phase away from their own culture, but instead, if we merge it together and unite their cultural experiences with learning a new language and this curriculum within a new language, uh, they learn to become more engaged and more confident. According to Gay, 2018, culturally responsive teaching uses students' cultural knowledge and prior experiences and performance styles to make learning more appropriate and effective. Similarly, Levine and their colleagues from the U.S. Department of Education emphasizes scaffolding practices to build on what English learners already know, rather than focusing on what they lack. We can integrate EL's cultural values by integrating and incorporating multicultural texts, encouraging students to share cultural perspectives during discussions, and designing projects that allow students to connect content to their lived experience. Uh, Culture plays a central role in student learning because students interpret information through their cultural lens. A classroom environment that is inclusive, affirming, and linguistically supported promotes stronger language acquisition. Students must feel emotionally safe in order to take linguistic risk. To create that inclusive environment, teachers can display multilingual signage, highlight students' work, and establish norms that value diverse perspectives, alongside providing structural frames and celebrating cultural contributions authentically within the curriculum rather than as isolated events. By supporting the needs of ELs in the classroom. When supporting ELs, English learners, it's important to recognize that they are not a monolithic group. They come with different levels, as every student has their own background, their own literacy experiences, their own educational experiences, alongside there are some cases of special needs. So when doing so, it means that we have to work with the level of each child, which may include visuals or modeling directions step by step. It may include structured peer collaboration, sentence starters, graphic organizers, and frequent checks for understanding. These scaffolds reduce cognitive overload and make grade-level content accessible. Miller, 2020, emphasizes that corrective feedback for English learners should support communication first, refine the language second. In practice, this means acknowledging the student's ideas before correcting their grammar or pronunciation. When students feel validated, they are more likely to participate and to be engaged. They are more likely to be more confident in what they are learning and contributing to their peers. We also must consider social and emotional needs. English learners may experience cultural shock, alongside with anxiety or feelings of isolation. Creating a classroom community that encourages peer partnerships, structured discussions, and identity-affirming activities promotes belonging. Understanding students' social and emotional and cultural needs also informs students' routines. Clear expectations and predictable structures alongside consistent modeling create stability. And this is what anyone that's going through anxiety or even cultural shocks need, is stability. And when routines are culturally responsive and transparent, students can focus their cognitive energy on learning rather than expecting uncertainty. When it comes to home and school connections, families and communities can often be referred as funds of knowledge, and they can significantly influence language learning. Students can bring valuable knowledge or information from their own households, which includes storytellings, traditions, work experiences, and cultural values. These are huge assets in the classroom, which can also build a strong home-school partnership, because at the end of the day, it is all about respect, knowledge, and communication. Schools can provide materials and offer programs when necessary, and use accessible communication platforms. However, communication must go beyond informing families. It should involve listening and collaboration. It is also important to encourage families to maintain and strengthen their home language. Research consistently shows that the strong first language development supports the second language acquisition. The second language acquisition. When families continue reading, speaking, and storytelling in their native language, in their home language, students can build literacy skills. Schools can further support engagements by hosting culturally inclusive events, family literacy nights, and informational workshops that explain schools' expectations. But in conclusion, an asset-based approach requires a shift of mindset. Instead of focusing on what English learners lack, we intentionally recognize and build upon their strengths by practicing cultural competence, creating inclusive environments, differentiating instruction, and forming authentic family partnerships. We help English learners thrive academically, socially, and emotionally.